Hello fashion designers. In this video we're going to be sewing this blouse. In the previous video we did the drafting and I also gave the style analysis of this blouse. Please check the comment section or description box to see that. I'll leave you a link to that. Okay, let's dive into the making. Alright, but this is the finished outlook when I'm done sewing. If something you're interested in knowing how to do, please stick around. So this is the cutout of my design. This I cut out after adding the necessary sewing allowances as we indicated in the previous class, in the previous tutorial. Check the description box and comment section for that. And this is my medium weight pad. I'm going to use this to pad my bust area, and this is the side front as you can see, and that's the center front. So I'm going to head over to the sewing proper. I'll be doubling my breast pad. That's why I have two pieces for each, two on both sides of the side and two at the center. This is because it's a lightweight wording, you get. So you can make use of a medium weight wording for yours if that was preferred. So if you're a beginner, this is the best way of attaching your wording or your breast pad. So the thing there is that cut this out and make sure you place it to be at the under bust. And first of all, you're going to use your running stitch and make it to be a one piece. Just tack it down, and you're also going to repeat the same thing to the sides as well. Tack them down like so, and trim out any necessary any necessary excesses. So that this is my lining for this side. I'm going to repeating the same thing for this side. As you can see, I gummed my paper stay to it. I made the paper stay by making use of your interlining to make the fabric to be stable while working. So I'm going to, as you can see, I'm doubling my padding. So I'm going to stack that down to the sides front as well, just as we did for the center front. So for this side, I will be using my hemming gum to hem it down, like to make it to be a one piece, so that it will not be shifting from the material. I will separating from the two wordings when the client is wearing them. Just avoid discomfort, make it to be stable. I'll be adding my hemming gum at that side. That's what I was illustrating there. I'm going to just use my hemming gum to start to and press it down so that it will be stable at the other side that I'm not sewing, you get. So now I'm going to head over to bringing in my center front, and I'll be sewing down by half of an inch. Note I gave my notches, the bust point I gave a notch there, the under bust I just gave the necessary notches as well as the waist area, and then I'm going to be using my pin to tack it down. The secret to getting a perfect bust curve, if you are sewing from the half length to the neck curve for one side, make sure you also be sewing from the half length to the neck area for the other side as well. So just follow the same direction. That's the essence of what I'm trying to say, so that the two busts will appear equal, like the two bust curve will appear the same. And if you're sewing all the way from your neck area to the half length for one side, make sure you also repeat the same thing for the other. So that's the sewing technique or tip to getting a perfect bust curve. Because if you're sewing I like sewing my own from half length to the upward, and I notice that it gives a little bit of like a little bit of a push up you get while sewing. But work with what works for you. The essence there is that make sure you're following the same direction while sewing. So that is it. So I'll be attaching the both pieces and sewing them down by half of an inch, because that is sewing allowance that we left when cutting it out. If you're a beginner, don't know how to measure your half inches, you can use this method. That means you can use your tape and sew, stop, push your tape, and then be sewing it at half of an inch. Or you can do your marking first on your tape, like mark out the half inches on the fabric using a pencil or your chalk, and then start sewing. So for my bust area, I like double stitching. Like I like giving the double stitch. It has to be more firmer. It gets to avoid instead of after sewing, you find out that your thread rips because you know why sewing your bust you sew it gradually, and sometimes your thread may not get through to every point. So I prefer double stitching it to make to be on the safer side. And also I've done that method for yours as well. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video to other fashion designers. And don't forget to drop your question in the comment section. I'll be there to attend to you. You can just send me a message, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, what you think. We'll be making this outfit. Don't forget also to turn your notification bell to get notified when I upload a new video. But I have more juicy content coming your way. Alright, let's continue with our sewing. So for the lining piece, I'm going to be hitting the same thing as so. I'm just going to be sewing the side to it by half of an inch, just as we did for the main fabric. And I'll be going to my ironing board to iron it out. This is what we have after stitching down my lining, and I'll head over to giving placing my necessary notches. I'll be notching it to make it easy. So for me, I like cutting out from my bust, under bust to the upper side. I like trimming down my excesses. So you can trim it out, or you can give it a notch and open up your seam and give it a good press. For me, I prefer cutting out the excess at the bust area, and from the under bust all the way to the waist to the full length. I'll be placing my notches and opening up the seam. But for the bust area, I'm going to using my this thing, my bust, that thing they're using to press bust. What is even called again? Like I'll be pressing it down, like I'll be opening up my bust area and give the necessary ironing. So after I was done pressing it down, this is what we have. It's how the bust is standing. Even though I did not do bust caging to it, like the effect is showing. So this is how the front is. See at the back, I opened up my seam allowances and I gave it a good press. And I also did the same thing for my lining piece. I gave it a good press as well. So that is it. When you press your open up your seam very well, it makes it relax, and gives that ease and makes the necessary curve to be protruding. You get. So this is my lining pieces as well, and then again head over to the sewing. So this is my neck area. So I'm going to be sewing it down by half of an inch, the right side facing each other, and I'll be sewing it down. So this is what I have after I was done stitching it down. Then I'm going to head over to giving it a notch, like marking out the areas, like the size. Know that it's a V curve and it's somehow curvy as well. So I'm going to be notching the center very well around that area so that to have space to relax, like to ease out the seams. And then I'm going to be notching it all the way to the other side as well. Then we'll be top stitching it. The sense of top stitching is just pushing your lining piece to one side, like the excess to the lining side piece of your top, and then you're going to be sewing it close to your initial stitch, but not on the stitch. That's what top stitching is, and I'm going to doing that as well. So here I'm done with the stop stitching, and I'm going to be joining the shoulder together just to make it to be a one piece, the lining and the main fabric, and this is it. So for over to the back, I'll be turning up my shoulder, my neck area with my lining as well by half of an inch. So that's it. So see the back, I added my paper stitch to it as well. So I'm going to be turning over the neck area now by half of an inch, after which I'm going to give it a top stitch, a notch before the top stitch as we did for the front. So I'm going to head over to giving it a press, and this is what I have after I press down the neck region for the two back piece. And now we are going to be turning the neck of our front with the two back piece. We join the shoulder area for the front, make it a one piece with the lining. So now I'm going to be placing the right side of the back on the right side of the front, as you see me doing, and I'm going to bring in the shoulder area. So now I'm going to be using the lining of the back to turn up the shoulder region of this blouse, make it to have a nice finishing. I'm going to flip it over like this, making sure that the set that like the tips align, and I'm going to be sewing down by half of an inch. So I'm going to use my needle to hold it down and then giving it a stitch. And this is what I have after I'm done sewing. You see how the wrong side is. The seam allowances are not showing that inside. That's because we covered this up with the lining. This is what you're trying to achieve. If you're an OG on this channel, you should be used to that method as well. So now you're going to head over to the hemming area. I'm going to be reducing my hemming area by half of an inch because I want to give it a little bit of a push up at the lower area. Remember that what we added while cutting our blouse out at the hemming area is 1 inches. We use 1 inch added and also have 1 inch for the sewing hemming allowance. So now on the lining piece, you're going to be trimming out half of an inch on it, both on the front piece and also at the back lining pieces. So we are going to be trimming out this half of an inch, and then we are going to be sewing it down by half of an inch. You get, you're going to see the effect that I'm trying to work to have when I'm done sewing this. So just trim out half of an inch on the lining pieces for the front and the back. So now we're going to be we have to start with the front. So for the front, we're going to make sure that the right side of the fabric and the right side of the lining are fitting each other, like the lining piece as well. And you're going to make sure that your dart allowances, like your dart lines, are matched. So I'm going to use my pin to pin it down. This is the princess dart line that is semi mashing together with the lining piece. I'm going to use my pin to hold it down. I'm going to pin the same thing for the other side. This is to make sure that after sewing it, like your bust, the lining bust area is still maintained. It's not like inside your bust is shifted, because the same thing we have um for the right side, that's what we also have for the lining piece you get. So make sure you mash your princess that area to put the bust in place, and then we are going to be sewing it down by half of an inch. So we're going to put in the same thing to the back as well. So we're going to be sewing down our hemming area by half of an inch before heading over to pressing it down to have that push effect you get. Please let me know your question in the comment section if you have any. So this is the effect after I'm done pressing this. You can see that push up at the lower end, and it's very beautiful and neat. This is what you're trying to achieve from this. So yeah, that's how the front is. That's how the lining piece is, all looking beautiful. That is what you're trying to get. Yours should be like this as well. So this is the back piece as well, and I've given it a good press, and that's the push up you're trying to get. Yeah, you also use this effect on skirts too. So now I'm going to head over to my weaving machine to weave out the armhole area, the zipper side as well as the side. So then I'm going to be attaching a sleeve to mine, a little sleeve, going to be a 6 inches length sleeve. So I marked my starting points. I'm trying to explain what I did here. I didn't record this initially. So I marked my this thing, my 4 inches, as where my cap is going to lay, and I have a length of 6 inches. To that I added 1 inches for the hemming allowance of the lower part, because I'm going to be folding, double folding it. I'm going to be doing a lining to that, and to that 4 inches I placed my armhole measurement and mark using my free hand. I created my curve. After creating my armhole curve, I added my half inches for the sewing allowances and recurved it as well. And for the full length, I'm going to be placing my sleeve circumference measurement, like my sleeve circumference divided by 2 inches. I'm going to be placing that at the full length. Remember, I added 1 inches to the full length. That means I'm having an in total 7 inches for the length of my sleeve. So, but after sewing, I'm going to have 6 inches at most. It's going to be a very short sleeve, just to cover the armhole area, the armpit. And then I added my sewing allowance, and to this I'm going to be cutting this out, and I'm going to be putting this cut to have a two sleeve. Okay, this is the first sleeve. With this, I'm going to be using it to cut out the second sleeve piece as well. So back to my sewing machine, I've already folded the edge of the sleeve. No, I did 1 inch for the hemming, so I double folded it and gave it a stitch. And then I went ahead to pin my sleeve all over my blouse, like the armhole area of my blouse, and then I'm sewing it down by half of an inch. But that's also in allowances for attaching the sleeve to the blouse. I'm going to go ahead to sew this down. I'm also repeating the same thing for the other sleeve area or the other armhole area. Please, I want to ask, would you like me to be cutting off the sewing processes? Like just say what I want to do and then I'll do it and come back to the camera. Or do you like me showing the whole process that you see me do? I'm showing how I'm doing my sewing, the stitches and everything. If you prefer it this way, let me know in the comment section. Or if you want me to be cutting out the whole process, let me also know in the comment section so as to make my changes in my next videos. Alright, thank you for your reply in the comment section. Thank you for letting me know your thoughts on this, and I'm so glad. So after I'm done sewing, this is what we have, and then we're going to head over to sewing, attaching our zipper to this center back. I'm going to be using an invisible zipper for this and have a video on this channel on how to attach an invisible zip. I'll be dropping the link in the comment section as well as in the description box. Please don't forget to check it out. So I'm going to attach my zipper to that before we go over to the creating of our cape, to the two cape that we saw on the thumbnail for this. So to make the cape, I'll be drawing my line. This is the caping process. Try to draw a diagonal line on my material, and then we're going to be forming our cape with this. But first of all, you need to measure out what you have for your half length. So measure out what you have for your half length. This cape is running all the way from the front piece to the back piece. So you're going to measure what you have for your half length. For mine, I'm using 16.5. Means in total I should be having 32 inches plus my necessary sewing allowance of half inch. That means I should be having 33 inches to get. So that's what I'm going to be working with, and I'm going to run my diagonal line to make sure it gets to my required length. Make sure I have my required length on it. So I folded my tape into two to find the midpoint, which is going to be shoulder area, and then I'm start placing my cape. So to this, I'm using, this is for the bigger cape. So for the bigger cape, I'll be for the shorter cape I'm using 4.5, and then for this bigger cape I'll be using 5.5 inches. We get 5.5 inches, and now I measured the midpoint because from the thumb, the fact that it's in the shoulder area that's more protruding, and when it was coming down, it had a curve. So to get that, I tried to get the midpoint to have my shoulder area, and I'll be marking the 5.5 inches all the way to the hem as to be a guide to me to be able to form that curve, at the lower area. You get. So I measured out my 5.5 inches, and I connected it with a straight line at first, and then I formed my curve. Which you're going to be seeing a jiffy. When you look at my fabric from the other half, like from the shoulder area, the half length to the other side that I've now marked my 5.5 inches. Whether the fabric there is looking shorter, it's not be going to be enough. I later realized that after I've placed my curve, because I wanted to have this exact curve at the other end, so I had to fold my fabric into two so as to be able to cut it at once, so that this same curve I'm drawing out now is going to also appear exactly at the other end, because we want these two sides to be equal. The curve run the cape runs from the shoulder area to the back. It needs to be the same design with the one running from the shoulder area to the front as well. So I realized I need to fold this fabric into two. When I folded it into two, I found out that my fabric is shortened at the other side. It wasn't able to give me what I want. So this is it. So I found out that it's shortened. So I had to redo my marking. But this time around, I tried to have my fabric folded into two before drawing out my curve. So I make sure that I fold my fabric into two and we went over to repeating our drawings. So this is when I folded my fabric into two. And I went over to remeasure my half length, like from the shoulder to the full length. But I found out that this is now giving me a shortage. So the best thing to do is to make sure you have your fabric on fold before placing your measurements. So I found out that with this necessary half inches for turning up my fabric, that the line I drew is now in shortage. So I went ahead to redo my markings. So I have to redo this marking as you see me. So I tilted my tape further to have my measurement, my full measurement placed well. You get. I retreated my tape and redoed my drawings. Please note for the pleats in the design, in the cape design, the front and the back, I added an extra 1 inch for that to my measurement. I'm going to that 1 inch to do my pleats. So this is the new line I'm going to be working with. From that new line, I start placing that same 5.5 inches that we did earlier. I'm sorry I didn't have a contrasting shock. That's why I marked the one we're not going to be using out by giving it an asterisk marking. I'm going to be using that one. So this is what we are going to have. I'm going to go ahead and reshape this, and this is it. So the best thing to do is to make sure you cut out your design on fold, so that after cutting that is going to give you what you have want. And then I went over to add half inches to the for my sewing allowance to this. So I added half of an inch to this, and then I went ahead to add half inches at the same side as well. And then we're going to be cutting it out. I'm going to be using this to cut out the other pieces as well. You know, these two, the one is bigger than the other, so I'm going to cut this for the other side of the front as well, and the lining pieces as well. But only turning this with a lining, which is going to be the same fabric. So this is it. I'm going to use this to cut out after folding my material on fold again. This is to cut out for the other side. So to cut the outer cape, this is going to be shorter, and I want it to have that standing effect. So I used the other cape that I have. I'm going to be tracing it out. See, I gave a little bit of space at that side front. See where I marked my shock. I tilted to have that little bit of space. This is going to give me that standing effect, like that little effect on the shoulder area when I'm done sewing it. And I'm going to be using this as a guide to cut out my 4.5 inches. But for this, it's going to be 4.5 inches, as I said earlier. As I'm trying to explain here, it's going to be shorter than this. So I'm going to be cutting this out, two pieces of this. Then I trace that curve using the other one I cut out. And this is the two piece after I'm done cutting it out. And I went ahead to add my hemming, my hairstay to it. I'm using a medium weight hairstay, and I placed my hemming gum inside to be able to have it combed very well. Then I use my pressing iron to make it to be a one piece. And this is for the lining piece. And I'm going to be placing the right side facing each other. And I'm going to head over to my sewing machine to turn it up like the rough edges. So I'm going to sew it down by half of an inch that we added for our sewing allowance while cutting it out. And I'll be repeating the same thing for the whole four piece. There's going to be four pieces at the end. With the lining is eight pieces now. So I'm going to sew it and have four pieces at the end. So here I'm done sewing them down. I'm going to do over to give it a notch, especially at this curved area. Make sure that your notch is closer at this curved area. I added up more not notches to that. I'm going to notch it all the way, and then at that shape, at that V shaped that we have there, you can make yours to be V. I made mine to be V, but you can make yours to be have a little bit of a curve. Like you can just use your chalk and blend it out and have it curvy if that's what you prefer, and then you can give it a notch. So now you're going to be pressing it down using your steaming iron. Give it a good press. Then put your hand inside to push it out. Right that curved area. Push it out and continue to press it down. So I found out that this V area is not relaxing very well. So I had to trim it off in a V manner as well. Same way. So I trimmed out, I cut out the excess inside there in a V way, and then I went ahead, so you see it's now more relaxed and more protruding. And then I continued with my pressing. I'm going to repeat the same process for the whole four piece. So for the other end as well, I'm going to be pressing this stuff like other half inches for that side too. So I'm going to be I notched the middle, as you can see, we gave it a bit notch at that middle area, and then I'm going to head over to folding it in by half of an inch, both the lining piece and the outer one. I'm going to fold it down by half of an inch. I'm going to give it a good press. I'll be using the same process for the whole four piece. So I went ahead to cut out a long strap. This be a 1.5 inches strap. I'm going to be using this to hem the rough area of the cape. Yes, I cut as many as possible that I'll be needing, and then I'm going to using this to
cover up this rough edge. So just as you do your normal bias, you get. So I'm going to be sewing it down. After which I'm going to flip it over and cover up that rough edge and so I'm not biased. So I'll not be sewing it at that crease line that we ironed. It's not going to be close, but that crease is where you're going to be sewing it while you're attaching it to your blouse. You get. I'm going to make do with that rough edge. If you prefer to use your weaving machine for that, that can also work. But make sure you're using the same color of thread for that. So this is my sewing machine. I'm trying to hem it down here. So to sew is attach our cape. I'll be going in by half of an inch from the shoulder tip. I'm going by half of an inch at that area for the first cape, which is going to be the shorter inches one. I'm going to be sewing it down at that bust area, like from the thumbnail. You found that it left, it didn't go on top of the bust point to get, it was a little bit slanting. So I'm going to make sure I sew that down. And at this point, so I'm going to be doing my pleat. That's what I'm trying to explain there. I'm going to do that 1 inch split at that area, and it's going to run away from the bust point a little bit, and it is going to stop at the half length, and at the half length it's going to be at that our bust span measurement. To get that's our princess dash line. That's where it's going to stop. This is the way the cape is going to run, and it's going to stop here. Just follow how mommy is. I hope you understand what I'm saying. You can use a shock to shock your own out if that's what you prefer. But for me, I'm going to head over to using my pin to pin down the cape before sewing it down. Then for the other cape, I'm going to run 1 inches away from the first inches, but at the half length, they're going to meet themselves at the same point to get. They're going to meet themselves at the same point. So this is what I have after I'm done um sewing out my rough edge. So it's now looking neater. And then I'm going to head over to measuring out which one is shorter, which one is longer. I'm going to get a short and a long piece on one side and the short and the long piece for the other side as well. And then I'm going to be pinning it down. This is my pleat here. I found my 1 inch pleat here. So this is what we have after sewing it. I did the same thing for the other side. And for the inner one, it was 1 inches away from the first one at the shoulder, but at the half length, they made themselves at the same point at the half length. And I did the same thing for the other side. You can see how beautiful it's looking. Now I'm going to head over to attach my applique on the second layer. I'm going to using my gum to tack it down, and then you can see how I'm doing it. So I'm using my gum to place in my applique. I'm going to run the way to the back before I will now do my attach my shape that's applique. The other type of applique or bead or stone at the first cape layer. So this is our finished outlook. Please don't forget to subscribe to channel, give this video a thumbs up, comment and share. I will see you in my next class. Until then, bye bye. I also made this skirt for it, although I didn't make a video on it. If you want to see a video on to make a pencil skirt with a buttock contour, let me know in the comment section. Bye bye. See you.